1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up? Welcome to the Hauntological Society, the place where we talk about all things paranormal and how strange. My name's Eric. I'm your host here in the society. With me, as always,
Wendy!
What's up, Wendy? How's it going?
It's going, man. It's going.
Yes, here we are back at it again. It's our second episode we recorded this week because we recorded the Dogman episode earlier this week to make up for our vacation time. So we're back on a regular schedule.
I don't apologize for vacation time.
No. Not apologizing. Just letting everybody know what's going on in our world.
And I'm already plotting our next adventure.
Good. Somebody's got a birthday coming up. Any guesses who that is?
You?
That ain't me.
You're next.
It's not me.
You are next.
You got the one in July.
Yeah.
So, you're Cancer?
Yep. Tried and true.
Tried and true. 22nd is actually your birthday, if anybody wants to know.
No, nobody does.
They want to know.
I do accept gifts, though, however. I love gifts in the form of Pokemon, gift cards. I like to play games. Anything that shines, apple of my eye.
Yeah. Please buy her diamonds.
Hey, Swarovski crystals or Pandora bracelet. Can't hint.
Uh-oh.
I've been throwing that hint for years, and it has hit this man upside the head thousands of times, and it lay where it hits.
Well, it's more like you ask me, so then you kind of expect it. So what I'm doing is I'm like waiting, and then one day I'll give it to you, and you're gonna be like, "Holy shit! I actually got it." So there you go.
Bullshit, but anyway, go ahead.
Here, so I want to read your your horoscope for you, since we're doing this. So you are a Cancer. You're a Leo cusp, which means you're almost a Leo, which starts in August.
Mm-hmm.
Your element sign is water and fire, which makes sense. Your ruling planets are Moon and Sun. And it says your personality overview, you're a rare blend of empathy and confidence. The sensitive, intuitive qualities of Cancer are complemented by the boldness and ambition of Leo. This gives you a natural charisma, a strong sense of loyalty, and a magnetic presence that draws people in. That is true. You feel deeply, but you're not afraid to stand in the spotlight. You likely care deeply for family and friends, but also crave recognition and creative expression. People may see you as nurturing, but also strong-willed. When balanced, you're inspiring. When out of balance, you may swing between shyness and dramatic intensity.
Nope, not me.
What was that look for? Your strengths are deeply intuitive and emotionally intelligent, warm, genuine, and loyal, creative with a powerful imagination, a natural leader and protector, highly empathetic but also courageous. You're prone to emotional overwhelm or mood swings. Damn. Can be overly sensitive to criticism. Oh my god. Might struggle with needing external validation, tendency to take things personally. You love deeply and romantically, but you also need someone who appreciates your creative spirit. It can handle your occasional mood shifts. You're drawn to people who are either emotionally deep or boldly expressive. Relationships that love you both nurture and be admired are the most fulfilling. You're best in roles that combine creativity and service, such as teaching, writing, counseling, acting, or leadership. You may also excel in environments that allow you to guide or inspire others. This is a year of growth and self-expression, and after a few introspective months, you may find yourself more outwardly driven. This summer and fall, opportunities in creative work and leadership may arise, especially if you've been quietly preparing behind the scenes. Just be mindful not to let old emotional wounds hold you back from stepping fully into your Leo side's confidence. There you go.
Spot on, man.
That was like, you wrote it yourself.
I'm telling you what, I care for my people. If you fuck with my people, I will fuck you up. I might die in the process, but I'm gonna give it one hell of a, swing.
Love deeply and deeply loved.
I do love deeply.
You do. So speaking of your birthday, so today's episode is inspired by yours truly, Wendy. We've been getting some recommendations for episodes, and I thought today would be a good one to do for you.
Great.
So looks like we are going to take a step. We're going to take an international trip today. Actually, we're going to go to Ireland and hang out with some fairies.
Sprites and fairies.
Sprites and fairies. The woodland creatures, woodland elementals, protectors of the forest.
Which I find oddly fascinating.
Yeah. So I sent you a couple photographs before we get started. Okay. Why don't you pull those photographs up? The first couple are black and white. And describe what you're looking at.
It looks like a woman sitting on a blanket in the forest, talking to a... What's the Christmas elf?
Christmas elf?
No.
Greg?
What's his name? What's he called?
He's just a Christmas elf.
No, they have Elf on a Shelf.
Oh, yeah.
Elf on a Shelf with wings.
I was like, I don't know what you're looking for.
But you knew who I was talking about.
I did, but I didn't know like what.
Yeah, Elf on a Shelf. That's what
you.
it looks like.
I prefer Snoop on a stoop.
Yeah, I do too. But I don't think age appropriate right now.
Right. It was 420 earlier when I was talking to you.
Was.
Not that we smoke or anything. That's not what I'm implying. It was
now.
Just funny. Right.
Back in the day. Late teens maybe. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Anyway, carry on.
So what's the next photograph look like? Should be another black and white.
Okay. Oh, up here. Okay, I didn't see all of these. I guess they're on a branch. Is that what they are?
Yeah.
A woman propped on a branch with fairies around her, playing flute and clarinet and music. Then we have... Yeah. Oh. So, the little girl talking to the fairy that's in front of her, floating in the air. I'm trying to find descriptive words here.
Yeah.
And then maybe what looks like...
Well, hold on for a second.
Okay.
No, you get ahead on that one. So the first three photos come from a famous photo shoot called the Cottingley Fairies. Okay. And they were taken in, I think, Cottingley, England is where they were taken. And it was these two little girls who would go into the woods and claim that they had some encounters with fairy-type creatures, and eventually got photographs of them and brought them back to show everybody. And for years and years, they blew up, and people consider them to be real photographs. However, most of these they claimed were fake, except for one, which claims to show a real fairy. Yeah. All the fairies in this photograph they claim are actually like cutouts or something of like cardboard or something like that.
Real.
Yeah, it looked kind of like a marionette.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the real one on here. I tried to find it, but I couldn't quite figure out which one was the real one. I'm wondering if like it's
the one where it's flying. I feel like maybe the more likely.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Of the three.
Like this one right here, even definitely looks. Hold on. The one where she's sitting on a blanket, it definitely kind of looks like a marionette or like like you could kind of tell that they've sort of
propped it up.
Yeah, fabricate. There might be like a little stake behind it, like propping it up to stand up. But the last photograph is a guy.
It's a girl.
No. The color photo.
Oh, okay.
So the last photograph is one that a guy took, and I don't know exactly where he took it. Let me see if I can find one. You pull that up and describe what you're looking at, and I'll try to find the thing here.
If you're looking from a distance, you would probably think it's either bees or uh, lightning bugs or something. That's pretty amazing, though.
Then when you get close to it, you can see like arms, legs, and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. When you zoom in, you can see what are arms and legs, and so it's like a little group of them.
So
little swarm of them.
This guy's name is John Hyatt, and he claims that the photos he took were actually real fairies from the British countryside. And he's a teacher, he's a professor, he's the director of Manchester Institute for Research and Innovation, and he insists the photos are genuine and not altered in any way. He says, "I was a bit shocked when I blew them up. I did a double take," and he told that to the Daily Mail.
What did he think he was taking?
I guess he was taking. Let's see if it says. I went on afterwards to look and took pictures of files, flies, and gnats, and they don't just look the same. They just don't look the same. People can decide for themselves what they are. And the message to people is to approach them with an open mind. I think it's one of those situations where you need to believe what you see. A lot of people have seen them and say they have brought a little bit of magic into their lives. There's not enough of that around. John will now show the photos in an exhibition called the Rossendale Faeries at the Whitaker Museum in Whitaker Park in Rossendale, throughout the spring. He added, "There are stranger things in life than fairies, and life grows everywhere. From my experience, they were just enjoying themselves, and there was a little dance in the sunlight going on. They're just beautiful pictures, and beauty can make people believe." That's all it says. So I wonder if he was like a nature photographer, like just out taking
Possibly,
random photographs.
If he was taking pictures of flies and gnats, then
I think he also took pictures of them to like compare, to say like, "Hey, it's not a bug, or it's this, or it's that."
Right.
But it's weird when you zoom in; it really does look like little
Fairies.
creatures cruising around.
Or is it your mind wanting it to, because some of them can have like a little mean, spiteful streak, and like if you disrespect their like land or what, their little habitat or whatever, they can like come at you.
Well, we're actually gonna get into that a little bit, but fairies aren't the nice little creatures that you think they are. They're kind of mischievous and spiteful, and they will come after you, like you say. They'll actually they've been known to kill people. Yeah.
So they're not our like fairy tale.
They're not Tinkerbell.
Right.
That's for damn sure. They are, I would assume, related to elves and gnomes and things like they're kind of like in the same grouping of like creatures or whatever.
Well, if you remember when what's the Chris guy who did the investigations in Ireland?
Oh yeah, Chris Fleming.
Chris Fleming,
Yeah.
He claims to have encountered, several sprites and fairies.
Yeah.
That were sort of malicious and evil intent or whatever.
Yeah, they're definitely like I guess the best way to look at them is they're protectors of the woods or forest, and so they're protected. They're very protective of what's theirs, and if you intrude on what belongs to them, they're going to let you know.
Well, also remember the paranormal caught on camera, where the dad and his children are out going to an apple tree.
Yep.
And they take a picture.
Oh, there's that one
that's
kind of
turns and comes at them.
Yeah, it was coming after them. It's pissed off that they found them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're places like Ireland, Scotland, England. Fairies are very big into their lore. And one thing I found was crazy is in like Norway and Sweden and things like that. Like they still believe in like elves, and that they think that elves are real. And there's actually places in Norway or Sweden where it's believed to be an elf hill, and they will build roads around where the elves live.
I've heard that
to not disturb them, which I think is fascinating. And people go over there and will take pictures, but you can't climb on it. You can't not do anything destructive. You have to respect the elves. I think it's the same way in Ireland and Scotland with the fairies. But you have to be respectful of where they're at. It's pretty. I think it's fascinating how in our culture they've become this cute little Tinkerbells and
wish granting,
and they're not
magical
it's like they've taken the sure they look pretty and beautiful and they're probably
Glittery
very
and sparkly.
yeah but they are not they're not that.
All right. Well, I'm ready to hear about these little badasses.
Well, let's get into it. So, like I said before, if I were to ask you what you thought about a fairy, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell.
Um, I'm sure most of you also would describe to me a Tinkerbell ripoff or just say Tinkerbell. Now, for myself, I grew up with the worldwide of Disney, as did Wendy, and that would come on TV Sunday nights. The opening sequence of Tinkerbell writing the word Disney across the screen, and then dotting the I before she flew away, leaving pixie dust everywhere. Disney helped thrust fairies into popular culture. With the Fae, they're much older than even Walt Disney himself. They go back thousands of years. Long before the rise of Christianity, pre-Christian cultures across Europe, particularly in Celtic and animistic traditions, believed the world was alive with spirits. Every grove, stream, hill, and stone was thought to hold its own consciousness, and interacting with these entities required respect and ritual. The Fae in this early form were not tiny winged creatures, but powerful nature spirits or even gods, guardians of the wild places and forces of fertility, weather, and fate. In Ireland and Scotland, the beings we now call fairies were once called Tuatha De Danann, a divine race believed to possess immense magical power, who lived in a parallel world and occasionally interacted with humans through omens, blessings, or trickery. These beings could be both helpful and wrathful, reflecting the unpredictable rhythms of the nature itself. I guess it depends on how they felt. So, when Christianity spread through the Celtic and Germanic world, it didn't erase the older beliefs, it absorbed and reinterpreted them. The Fae were no longer seen as divine or elemental, they were reformed as fallen angels, unbaptized souls, or demons, which occupied the spaces between heaven and hell. The church cast a suspicious eye on fairy traditions, warning that to consort with the fairy folk was to risk one's soul. Yet belief in them persisted in ritual folklore. Now shaded with moral caution, what were once nature spirits became dangerous tricksters and seducers. Yep. And gifts left at a fairy mound become whispers of pagan superstition. The Fey world shifted from sacred and mysterious to suspect and haunted. Still powerful, but now part of the spiritual underworld rather than the divine landscape. That brings up a great point. How you perceive things is based on what you were taught. I think that when the paranormal comes to when it presents itself to a person, they can look at it and say, "I think this could be a demon, this could be an angel," but that's based on what your beliefs are.
Right.
Whereas if you're like Arabic or Muslim, you might be like, "This is a jinn," or
Right. Yeah.
something like that. So it depends on where you're from as to how you perceive it.
La Llorona.
But it's all the same thing.
Okay.
The history of Celtic fairies stretches deep into into the ancient mythological traditions of Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Brittany, where these beings were never the glittering winged creatures of modern fantasy, but rather powerful, complex entities known as the AOC, or People of the Mounds. According to legends, the descendants of the Tuatha De Danann, if I'm butchering this, I'm sorry, were driven underground by invading forces. Over time, they became associated with burial mounds and sacred sites existing in a parallel world just beside our own. These fairies would become beautiful, noble, and mysterious, but also vengeful, volatile, and wholly otherworldly. They were not to be trifled with, which I think is why I brought up the mounds of the elves too, because there were also mound builders.
Okay.
Mischievous and dangerous behavior was a hallmark of many Celtic fairies. They were known to steal children, leave behind sickly changelings, or lure travelers into bags or fairy rings. Sorry, not bags, bogs. Lure travelers into bogs or fairy rings where time passed differently or not at all. The Leonin Side, a muse-like spirit, offered poetic inspiration in exchange for a lover's life force, inevitably leading to madness or death. The Puka, a shape-shifting creature, might appear as a dark horse and gallop through the night, carrying victims on terrifying rides. Even seemingly friendly fae like the household brownie could turn into a destructive bogart if insulted. Offerings of milk, bread, or shiny objects were left out to appease them, not because they were cute, but because offending them was a dangerous gamble. In Celtic lore, fairies demanded respect, not affection. Also, if you come in contact with a fairy and it offers you food, don't eat it.
Poison?
It's not necessarily poison, it's a way for them to trap you. If you, there's been reports of where people would eat from the fairies and then they would be trapped in the fairy world or completely disappear or potentially die.
Damn.
Yeah. There's a cool UFO story about this guy named Joe Simonton, and he. This is a side tangent. I might talk about this later, but he basically runs into these aliens standing outside their UFO cooking, and he walks up to them, and they gave him pancakes, and asked him to eat the pancakes, and Jacques Vallée did a little research on it and determined that they were kind of like Fae-like creatures. And anyway, he broke the rule of like not eating from the Fae. He like ate the pancake,
So they eat pancakes too.
something like that.
Okay.
Joe
Or
actually
something like that.
Joe actually had some left over and had them tested out, and they were made with what looked like flour and water. But the weird thing was there was like no salt in them. I don't know. Very weird story.
Okay.
Joe Simonton. Anyway, hidden deep in the birch woods of the Scottish Highlands, particularly near Loch God damn it, in Gairloch, the Gilly Doo, pronounced Gilly Doo, is one of the more haunting and gentle figures of Highland folklore. His name means dark servant in Scottish Gaelic, and it's a reference to both his dusky complexion and the thick layers of leaves, moss, and bark that he wears like camouflage. Small and wiry in frame with dark hair and piercing eyes, the Gilly-Doo is described as a solitary, shy woodland spirit who avoids adults but is said to show kindness towards lost or frightened children. Unlike many other Fae in the Celtic lore, who are often tricksters or predators, the Gilly-Doo is gentle, reclusive, and deeply connected to the natural world. Most well-known story of Gilly-Doo involves a young girl named Jessie McCrae. She became lost in the forest near Gairloch in the late 19th century. According to local accountants, Jessie was found the next day in perfect health and spoke of a little man in leaves who kept her warm and sheltered beneath the trees through the cold Highland night. He had not spoken, but she said he had been kind and calm, guiding her back to safety once the dawn broke. The story, collected and published by early folklorists, remains the strongest thread connecting the Gilly-Doo legend to a potential real-world encounter. Also, when we say ghillie suits, which snipers wear, that's where that comes from. Okay. It comes from the Gilly-Doo because he's also covered in leaves or moss or whatever.
So that's a different type of like small person.
Yes.
Okay.
Other more fleeting sightings were reported by gamekeepers and villagers in the area throughout the 1800s. People claimed to see a dark figure darting silently through the birch trees, always just out of reach, blending so seamlessly with the forest that seemed more plant than person. Some travelers left offerings of berries, cloth, or milk near the groves where he was believed to dwell, hoping to ensure his protection, or at least avoid offending him. Despite his kindness to children, the Gilly-Doo was still a being of the wild, and to disrespect the forest he guarded was said to invite misfortune. Over time, as industrialization and deforestation crept into the highlands, stories of the Gilly-Doo faded. He has become absorbed into Scottish folklore as one of the last truly benign nature spirits, a Fae guardian tied to a specific place, whispering of time when people lived closer to the rhymes of the woods. Today, he is sometimes referenced in fantasy literature and even modern military lore. The camouflage ghillie suit used by snipers and hunters is said to take its name from this elusive forest guardian. I like to think that he's like faded back into the forest where he's like not gone, but just sort of like step back to watch everybody around him.
Yeah.
Like a sniper. Over the centuries, many theories have emerged to explain what the Fae really are. Each one reflecting the beliefs, fears, and curiosities of culture, asking the question. One of the oldest views that holds that the Fae are nature's spirits. God damn, I can't read for shit. Let me just start this over. Over the centuries, many theories have emerged to explain what the Fae really are, each one reflecting the beliefs, fears, and curiosities of the culture asking the question. One of the oldest views that holds Fae are nature spirits, beings tied to rivers, groves, stones, and wind, acting as guardians of the natural world. In this interpretation, they are neither good nor evil, but elemental, capable of kindness or wrath depending on how humans treat the land. Others trace their origins to ancient pagan gods, specifically the Tuatha De Danann of Irish mythology. And they were demoted from divinity after the Christianization of Europe. These Fae retain echoes of divine power, living in parallel realms, crossing into our world through mists, mounds, or moonlight. More esoteric theories paint an even stranger picture. Some folklorists and paranormal researchers suggest that the Fae are interdimensional beings, entities from a neighboring reality that occasionally bleeds into our own. Others argue that they may be residual spirits, echoes of the dead, or even extraterrestrial, whose high strangeness was interpreted through a mythological lens by pre-modern societies. A few cryptozoologists have wondered if Fae sightings reflect encounters with undiscovered humanoid species, feral people, or relic populations living in seclusion. Still others believe the Fae are psychological archetypes, symbols of the collective unconsciousness, manifesting through altered states of perfection. Whether they are gods, ghosts, nature spirits, or something stranger still, the Fae endured as one of the most persistent and unsettling mysteries of folklore. Neither wholly real nor entirely imaginary, always dwelling at the edge of human understanding. There's a lot to unpack in that. But the most important thing is that no matter what you believe, the Fae are always there protecting the land, protecting. And the elemental part of it is that they are found within the wind, within the air, within the water,
Right.
in the grass. I think it's interesting that they always mention the birch trees too. I wonder why they always hang around birch. Maybe if there's like a birch grove, there could potentially be like a fairy outcropping.
But is it a particular bark or
Could be, yeah,
something the tree produces that attracts them? I mean, I'm not real sure. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's interesting.
I wonder if they. I don't think birch really produces any like fruit or anything. So
No, I don't think so.
um, there are a few like Fae hotspots to check out. One is called Ben Bulben, which is a flat-topped mountain looming over the county Sligo in Ireland. It's one of the most mythically challenged landscapes in the country. Mythically charged landscapes in the country, long believed to be a thin place where the veil between the human world and the other world is especially fragile. Deeply woven into Irish folklore, the mountain is associated with the ancient warrior Fionn Mac, Cum Hale, and the tragic love story of the Dr. Mewid and Grian. Jesus Christ, I cannot say these Gaelic words. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My brain does not produce that. According to legend, the Diarmuid met his death at the base of Ben Bulben, gored by a fairy sent boar, a tale that cements the mountain's reputation as a place where supernatural forces linger. Modern sightings around Bill Bulben suggest that the Fae may still be active in the region. Hikers and locals alike have reported seeing mysterious lights dancing across the slopes at twilight, soft pulsing glows that flicker and move in patterns with no clear source. Others describe encounters with small humanoid figures, roughly 3 feet tall, slipping in and out of the underbrush, especially near the Glen of Horseshoe. These beings are typically dressed in green or gray and said to move in an unnatural, almost gliding fashion. Adding to the strangeness, some have heard ethereal music emanating from the hillsides, haunting, lilting tunes that seem to come from nowhere and vanish just as suddenly. A number of witnesses also report disorienting experiences such as dizziness, lost time, or electronic devices failing without explanation. One hiker claimed to sit near a naturally formed fairy ring of mushrooms only to wake up hours later. The sun was nearly gone and their phone mysteriously dead. Locals still warn against interfering with certain trees, stones, or fairy paths around the mountain, saying misfortune follows those who disturb the Fae. This reputation captivated the great Irish poet W.B. Yeats, who once believed Ben Bulben to be a gateway between realms. His poem Under Ben Bulben captures the mountain's mystique, and fittingly, Yeats is buried at its foot. Even today, the area draws those fascinated by fairy lore, high strangeness, and Ireland's enduring belief in things just beyond our sight. That's pretty cool. Poet laureate W.B. Yeats. Love the Fae. But no matter how cute, how adorable, how precious you think they are, don't mess with the Fae. In traditional folklore, interacting with the Fae is considered deeply dangerous, not because they're evil, but because they operate under a set of rules and morals entirely separate from human understanding. The
Where
Fae,
spiteful come in, I guess.
yeah. The Fae, or good folk, are often described as powerful, otherworldly beings who can bless or curse with equal ease, and what may appear to be kindness on their part can carry hidden and often treacherous costs. One of the most common warnings in fairy lore is to never accept their food or drink. Doing so may bind a person to the other world permanently. Time in the fairy realm is also dangerously fluid. A person might believe they've only spent an hour dancing with the fae, only to return and find that years or even centuries have passed in the human world. I wonder if that's what the story of Rip Van Winkle is based on. Come in contact with a fae, went to their world, was able to come back, but he was a much older person.
Right.
Accepting gifts from the fae is similarly perilous, as these offerings often come with strings attached. Shimmering treasures may turn to leaves, or enchanted objects might bring misfortune once removed from fairyland. Gratitude too can offend them. Thinking of fairies suggests that they are subordinate or owed, which may insult their pride and provoke retaliation. In many tales, simply speaking their true name can draw their attention, so euphemisms like the fair folk and the gentry are used out of caution and respect. Um, the Fae are also infamous for abductions. They are said to steal away children or even adults. Even the beautiful or gifted, sometimes leaving behind changelings in their place. Those who return from the other world often come back changed, mute, haunted, or seemingly touched by madness. Additionally, sacred places associated with fairies, such as lone hawthorn trees, ancient burial mounds, or fairy rings, are to be avoided or approached with reverence. Violating these spaces can bring curses, illness, or inexplicable misfortunes, a phenomenon once referred to as a fairy blast. Ultimately, the danger of interacting with the Fae lies in their unpredictable nature, in their strict alien code of conduct. Folklore teaches that these beings must be treated with caution, respect, and distance. A moment's curiosity, an unintended offense, or a single misstep could lead to the consequence that ripple through a person's life, or remove them from it entirely.
Wow. That'd be some shit.
And that's the story of the Fae, or that's at least the history. One thing I like to do in this podcast as we're going forward is kind of give some history of it, and we'll tell more stories and stuff as we go. But I think it's good to know like the backstory. So that's kind of why that tale is deep into the lore of fairies. So maybe we'll have a little understanding as we hear stories going forward.
And birch trees,
Birch trees.
they have medicinal properties
That's interesting.
for pain and inflammation, UTIs, kidneys, arthritis, skin conditions, cut scratches. So that could be a reason for them to be seen around birch trees. They're good for making containers for storage
Okay.
and to build canoes. I mean, all kinds of there's all kinds of uses from birch trees, whatever. So the fact that it has natural healing properties,
Yep.
I could see that be the leading thing there or whatever.
Yep.
But I mean it says you can use down to the bark, wood, leaves, all of it, or pretty much anything.
What if the Fae are manipulating the birch trees so that like that's why they have the healing properties? That they're manipulated from the fairy.
And it could be with like their energy soaked into the wood or something.
Yep.
And I saw something else. Go ahead. I'd lost it.
I was just gonna say, talking about changelings, so that they'll switch you out with a changeling. I just want to give you like a little brief insight of what a changeling is. For those of you who don't know, a changeling is a creature, often a fairy or elf, substituted for a human baby. These beings are often portrayed as sickly, misbehaving, or having unusual traits, and are left behind when a human child is taken to the fairy realm. The origin is the changeling myth is rooted in European folklore, particularly Celtic and Germanic traditions. Fairies, elves, or trolls were believed to swap their own offspring for human babies, often as a form of punishment or to acquire a human child. Changelings were often described as having physical or behavioral differences from typical infants such as being sickly, irritable, or having unusual abilities. Human children taken by the fairies are sometimes often used as servants or to strengthen fairy bloodlines, while the changelings left behind were seen as a source of misfortune for the human family. Some folklore suggests ways to identify and potentially return a changeling to the fairy realm, such as placing it in an oven or exposing it to iron. Some modern interpretations suggest that the changeling myth may have originated from attempts to explain conditions like disabilities, developmental delays, or difficult behavior in children.
Because of the fairies?
Mm-hmm.
But even children will grow up.
Yeah,
So
it's not saying the children are. It's not saying the children are because it's saying the changeling.
right, but
Yeah,
they leave a changeling in place of a child. Is what
yeah,
I'm saying. So they take a child, but even a child's gonna grow up.
yeah. Well, but it said that the fairies in the fairy realm, time is different, so it might not grow like it does here.
Point taken. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so this was another little interesting tidbit that I found.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've heard of this. So right up the street in Cherokee, on the Cherokee Reservation, the Cherokee tribe of North Carolina believed that Yunwi Sunzi, or little people, equivalent of fairies or European folklore in Cherokee mythology. The Yunwi Sunzi were benevolent spirits who sometimes help humans in Cherokee stories, but often have powers and could punish people who are disrespectful toward them. Over the course of centuries, fairies have taken different appearances in different legends. Fairies have generally portrayed as human-like in appearance with magical powers, allowing them to alter their size from unusually small to human size. That's interesting.
It is pretty interesting,
Mm-hmm.
especially in Cherokee.
Yeah.
That would be probably in the indigenous lore or whatever.
Well, they still believe that. They still follow some of those traditions. The Cherokee have actually done away with making Christianity their main religion, and they've gone back to their original folklore. So they don't teach. They teach the old tradition. So this is probably still being taught up there today.
You mean the like earth, wind, all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, here you go. That's wild. Pretty cool. You found something about Cherokee.
I know it is. I thought so too.
They so many of their legends fall into the paranormal. Like they have the Moon-Eyed people. They have the little people. They have tales of giants. They have all kinds of stories and tales that fall right along into what we talk about every day.
And it's I mean, it's crazy, because even like, okay, say a medium or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
sees things that we don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what we're describing as a fairy?
Yeah.
It's actually, something horrific.
Yeah.
So you never know. I mean, but I think it's the lore, the stories and everything's fascinating. I'd like to go to Ireland and go look at the mounds
Yeah.
or whatever.
I bet if we went to the Cherokee and found some of the elders, they could probably show us where they believe fairies hang out or the little people hang out. In
Did you notice anything in the museum that mentioned anything about fairies?
there is not specifically fairies, but there is a statue or something there that's believed to come from the Moon-Eye people. That's displayed. I had to look into it, and we might talk about it on an episode. But
Okay.
I don't remember seeing anything specifically about the little people in the Natural History Museum up there. I need to look into this. Maybe we can do a story about it.
Maybe we can go to Cherokee.
We could definitely go to Cherokee.
Yeah.
We could do it on the spot, like check it out. I would like to go up there and do a. They have the ghost walk that goes through the Conaluftee Village. I'd like to do that.
I mean, we could do that too.
The last time we were up there, I think we were walking around. We might have went up near where they did the Unto the Hills play or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going through the graveyard, and I ran across the grave of Charlie Cucumber, and Charlie was a guy who used to when I was a kid, his band would play every year at the festival. We'd always go up to the festival, and so I'd always see Charlie and his band playing. And I think it's just wild that he passed away, and then years later, I found his grave without even realizing it.
So is Cucumber really his last name, or is that like a Cherokee name?
No, that's his name.
Damn.
Yep. Oh, I love those native names. So
I want mine to be windy ice cream. Go ahead.
Done.
Sorry.
It'd be Windy Sunday.
Windy birthday cake ice cream.
Windy Baskin Robbins.
Mm-hmm.
Hyphenated name. After hearing that, does that change like how you feel about the fairy or fae?
I mean, I kind of knew that they had the little mean streak in them, but you're just wrong, dude. But no, it don't really. I don't think it changes how I think or feel. I know. I would guess I would be more prone to keep them from a far distance,
Right.
or whatever. But I'd still like to observe them.
Oh yeah. It'd be so neat to see like little people like flying around. But every time I hear the fairies or fae, I think of the little brownies from Willow. Do you remember those?
Not right off deck.
Did you see Willow?
I did, but it's been a minute, and I would probably have to like be refreshing.
They're like the little house people. They're like real small, and I think they help them fight against like the witch or whatever. But they're wearing like loincloths and they're funny as hell. But they're like I guess the good version of the fae or whatever.
Gotcha.
All right, well, I guess that's it. I don't have anything else. You got anything else to say?
I don't. It's pretty interesting.
Hope you guys learned a little bit about the fairy. You got to really when you think about things like this, I think it's best to really see it from a larger perspective. Don't like hone in your eyes on one particular thing. It's not just about little people who are flying around because they're connected so much more to everything else. And in the story, it kind of mentioned that they were referred to sometimes as fallen angels or demons. So anytime that it's easy to.
And are they? They have wings.
They might be. You never know. It could be our interpretation of what they are.
What do you think about fairies?
I think that they are important part to
You think they exist?
everything that exists because I think they're real. I believe that they're true. I believe that there are true spirit elementals that protect the land, just like I think there are true spirit elementals that protect the air, protect the water, and I think that's also part of the reason why we have certain cryptids that pop up. Bigfoot could probably be cycled into that because he's a protector of the forest.
Right.
I sort of feel that way about Loch Ness being like a protector of the water. So you can kind of go through the line and find like different cryptids that exist in certain planes and what they're protecting.
So mermaids, you reckon they protect the water?
Yeah, yeah, they're like a spirit that protects the water.
Gotcha.
But I kind of feel like in some weird way it's all connected at one point or another. Not saying that they're all the same thing, but they're all connected in some way.
Or that they're exactly as we imagine them, as these cute, beautiful, etherical
Right.
creatures, can actually be like some hideous, like,
Yeah.
in real life. They could be like, little goblins.
Yeah. Because and even like connected them to like UFOs and aliens, it kind of goes hand in hand because they share. If you listen to it, they share some of the same traits.
Right.
They show up at weird points. They're seen as little people. They're doing this over here. They're flying. There's different points within each story that you can kind of go through and connect the dots and says, well, this connects to this. This connects, like, for instance, because I was going through my head trying to think of an example. You see them as little globes or lights, but when you see a UFO, sometimes they appear as orbs or globes or lights. So there's that connection where is it the same? Is it different? Or when we look at brown mountain lights, are we looking at fairy lights across the mountain? Who knows? It could be the same thing.
Or we're looking at balls of gas that are.
Yeah. Or are the lights of Brown Mountain UFOs that are creeping around the mountain? It's hard to say.
Another I find interesting. This be my last point. Satan was the most beautiful angel who was cast to hell. So usually things that are that entice us are all beautiful. They're seen in beautiful form. So possibly the fairies want you to see them as beautiful. Because would you honestly go near a goblin? Probably not.
Probably not. You know, I think stories like that are like put into our society as a way to say that it's a metaphor that evil is tempting because it looks beautiful, but the result doesn't
Right.
end up
Exactly.
so beautiful. And so I think that's why that gets thrown in there like that. Who knows? There's a lot of metaphors in it. There's a lot of like, if I really sit down and just think about it, like, oh, I can start making all these connections and stuff. Like, and I try not to do that sometimes because I could really throw myself down a rabbit hole going, but this is like this because of this, and this is like this because of this, and this is like this because of this. Next thing I know, I'm on the iPad looking up random shit.
I know.
And I'll just start going down rabbit holes. But it's all, I guess the main point is it's all connected.
It all circles around somewhere, huh?
It's the circle of life. The circle of life. With that being said, the episode we got planned for next week, it's going to be kind of tied into this. So come back. You're going to enjoy it. Wendy, thank you for that wonderful suggestion for the story today.
Oh, thank you.
Hopefully you'll have more coming up.
I had to throw some more hints out there.
This episode comes out before your birthday, so hopefully, I'm trying to remember the next one comes out. So no, I think we got 2 weeks. We're a little early on your birthday, but we're gonna celebrate for a while for it.
Okay, cool. I ain't got a problem with that.
Check out our merch. We got some new merch on there. I think you'll like it. We added some tank tops on there, some hats. Make sure you go check out our merch. Our link is on our page. We're now on Instagram. Go follow us on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Email us at thehonologicalsociety@gmail.com. Anywhere you want to, we're there. Any of your podcast apps, come and find us. Wendy just took my photo for the Instagram page, so you guys heard that happen in real time. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Pause for the calls.
I saw you moving. I was like, I need to spread this out.
Well, you said Instagram. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks everybody that listens. We'll see you next week. I hope you enjoy the show.
Have a good weekend.
I'm Eric.
I'm Wendy.
We're out.